Today I want to share with you a story of when I decided not to work in a 9 to 5 job anymore. It was about 10 years ago and I was 16 years old, and I decided that I want to try getting a job to make some money. I went to a government portal where you could apply for getting a job as a minor, because in my country you have to be 18 to legally work a job. I sent out my application, and about a week later I got a call from an agent who said that I had two options available to me right now. I can go either work in a delivery warehouse sorting packages, or I can be a waiter at this very busy restaurant. The warehouse job was a bit closer to where I lived, so that's what I picked. And I went there, had a little interview, but pretty much they were about to take anyone who can count and sort packages, and it's really not that difficult to understand. Pretty much we had a cart full of packages. Some people scanned them, put on new labels. Those new labels had numbers on them, and I had to look at the number and see, okay, this one goes in the crate 55. Then I take it to crate 55, put it in, and that's what I did all day. I went to the cart, picked a package, looked at the number, put it in the according crate. And the job was incredibly boring and robot-like and monotonous, and I really didn't like it. Also, at the time, I was very shy and introverted and insecure, and I had a couple of coworkers. All of them were older than me, and they took these smoke breaks. And during these smoke breaks, I would go outside just to, because everyone's having a break, I also want to have a break. But I didn't smoke, and the topics they talked about didn't interest me at all, and I sort of felt like this loner who just stands there and listens or daydreams and doesn't really fit into the work culture and environment. I only had a couple of coworkers. One of them was this 40-something-year-old guy who seemed like didn't have any other interest than just having a good time and doing substances. And there was this 17-year-old girl who also was just talking about having a good time at work. And my boss was 24, and she seemed not very happy at this workplace. She seemed stuck. And there was this other intern apart from me who was 18, but I was too shy to have a normal conversation with her. I was scared of talking with girls at the time. So yeah, the conversations really never went anywhere past just facts and talking about work. So I didn't really fit into the company culture, you could say, at the time. And during these shifts, I usually took the afternoon shifts, I think they were around 3 to 5 hours long, and just sorted these packages and waited for the shift to end so I can go enjoy summer. I only had a contract for 1 month. It was August, and the school would start in September. So during the second part of the month, I started taking morning shifts because I was used to waking up early in the morning to go exercise. So a few days a week, I would wake up and work from, I think it was 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. So 3 or 4 hours in the morning. And I liked it better because I was pretty much the only worker there, and I had this huge crate of packages to sort. And I remember distinctly all I did for those 3 or 4 hours was just daydream. I would zone out because the work was so unstimulating, and I would zone out and just in the robot-like fashion sort these packages, but in my head I was daydreaming, I was fantasizing, I was imagining things. And mostly what I imagined was being a professional artist. And at the time I played video games, especially I loved video games by this company Valve. So I liked Dota 2, I liked Counter-Strike, I liked Team Fortress 2 and others. And I really wanted to become a professional concept artist. That was my new dream. that I recently discovered that, wow, you can make money as an artist by drawing for video games. So that was what I wanted to do. And for these 3 or 4 hours, I would just fantasize, like, what would the job interview be like? What would I have to do? How would I do it? And I didn't know it at the time, but that was the direction I really wanted to go to. But at the time, I was just fantasizing. And I knew I didn't really enjoy the job, but I thought, okay, job's a job. You're not supposed to enjoy it. You're just supposed to work to make money. But the crashing point came when the month ended, and I think about a week later, I received a whopping $140 for the month. And I was 16 and I was inexperienced. So of course I didn't read any contracts that I signed. I didn't even know how much I was getting paid for the job. So it turns out I was making around €1.60 per hour, which today would be around 2 and something euros, maybe 2.50 max, which still is pretty much nothing. And if you have any responsibilities like rent or family and you have to take care of them, then working at the warehouse you would have to work probably 6 days a week, full shifts, to make any kind of minimum wage. And of course my salary was a bit lower because I was underage, but still I was making so little money there that I felt like the month was completely wasted. I felt cheated. I felt undervalued, and I felt that I would have rather not worked at all instead of work there for that money, because it's just not worth it. And I decided that I'm still 16, I have time to study, I can devote and really focus and try to be a professional artist. Professional meaning that I can make money from the art I make. And I made this sort of a vow to myself never to work a 9-to-5 job again. And I was sort of the anti-establishment, anti-system type of person at the time, and later as well. So I didn't work at any official 9-to-5 job since then, except at one point I did work as a cook in 2 vegan cafeterias, which was a job that I actually enjoyed. I wanted to do it, and I had a purpose. I wanted to learn to cook better. I wanted to work in the kitchen. I wanted to see what it's like. So it was still very, very low paying job and very difficult, I would say, like physically difficult, and it's stressful as well because it's very time sensitive. You have to complete the order in a good time and not fuck it up, and you have to do that all day. So working as a cook, some moments would be normal, kind of relaxing. You could just, chop vegetables or fry something, but at some point you have 6 orders at the same time and you have to get them all done in like a few minutes. So sometimes we're super stressful, and I would be very exhausted at the end of the shift. And those shifts as a cook were much longer as well, like 7 hours, and pretty much no breaks at all. So yeah, working a 9-to-5 job for me kind of sucked, but it did make me realize that I need to work hard in order to do an alternative path. And that's what I've done. I pretty much made most of my money being an art teacher, either working for institutions or privately doing art lessons. And I've made money working as an animator, illustrator, designer, painter, all sorts of various art fields. So I think if I had not done that internship when I was 16, I don't know if I would have been so serious about studying art and about trying to become a professional artist. And even though I didn't end up working at the video game industry because my interests shifted from video games to academic art, then to comics, then to animation, then to painting, and sort of stopped playing computer games at one point. I think that was the first ambition I had as an artist. Like, I want to get good so I can work at the video games, because the skill that concept artists have at the professional level is probably the highest skilled art there is currently. Because it's so competitive, you have to be so well trained and fast and technically skilled that people at art school or doing fine art couldn't do it. It's too hard. You cannot take anyone from art school and put them in a concept artist job and they would be able to do it. No, you have to be specially trained for it, I think. So yeah, that's my story of how I worked for a month at a 9-to-5 job and I hated it and decided to become an artist. And what are my thoughts for working at a 9-to-5 in general? I think it depends on what kind of a 9-to-5 job are you working. Like, is it in your field? Are you specialized in that sort of work? And what's your purpose? Maybe you have a family to support, or maybe you're saving up for a dream. So if you have a purpose, that's good. I think 9-to-5 is nothing wrong with that. And there are lots of benefits, of course, like financial stability and sort of rhythm and meaning to your days. But if you have a purpose not to work at a 9-to-5 job and to do something else, I think working a 9-to-5 job just takes too much time, too much energy, especially if it's not in your field. If you're doing something like sorting out packages, then maybe you're not applying all of your potential. I don't know, I'm only 26. I haven't had that much experience. I haven't worked at a 9-to-5 since, so maybe my thoughts would change if I tried it again, because working as an artist, for me at least, is not financially stable. Like, some months I'm doing okay, some months I'm doing good, but some months I pretty much have no income and I have to spend my savings in order to survive. And I cannot really start a family or afford a good living situation with the finances I'm having. So there are downsides, there are hardships to being an artist, but at least I'm in control of my time. I'm in control of my projects, and I can set my own goals, and I have a purpose why I'm doing it. So pretty much I'm my own boss, which feels very good. I like that a lot. And my goal is just to make that sustainable in the long term. So yeah, thank you for watching my video. Bye.